Right now, 4,539 people are living on a floating city in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. They're not tourists. They're Navy personnel, sleeping in racks the size of coffins, eating 18,000 meals a day, and launching $70 million fighter jets from a deck surrounded by nothing but water. This isn't a cruise ship. It's the USS Gerald R. Ford, the most advanced aircraft carrier on Earth. And for the next few minutes, we're taking you inside. How do 5,000 people survive for months with no land in sight, powered by a nuclear reactor and running one of the most dangerous workplaces on the planet? You're about to find out. The USS Gerald R. Ford is the lead ship of America's newest class of aircraft carriers. It is the first new design in more than 40 years, replacing the Nimitz class that has served since the 1970s. Commissioned in 2017, it cost more than $13 billion to build. Its construction took 12 years, requiring the expertise of thousands of engineers and shipbuilders at Newport News Shipbuilding in Virginia, the only yard in the United States capable of producing nuclear-powered carriers. The Ford is massive. It measures 1,092 feet in length, longer than the Empire State Building is tall. It displaces over 100,000 tons of steel, machinery, and aircraft. Its flight deck covers 4.5 acres, an area so large that more than 70 combat aircraft can be staged, launched, and recovered. From the keel to the top of the island, the ship rises nearly 250 feet above the waterline, as tall as a 25-story building. But size alone doesn't tell the story. At the heart of the Gerald R. Ford are two A-1B nuclear reactors. Each reactor produces more electricity than the combined reactors of the older Nimitz-class carriers. Together, they generate more than 300 megawatts of power, enough to run a medium-sized American city. With this power, the Ford can travel for more than 20 years without refueling. Food and ammunition are the only limits. In theory, the ship can remain at sea indefinitely. Now consider the human side. Nearly 5,000 men and women live aboard. On deployment, that number can climb higher when the air wing and command staff are fully embarked. Every one of them has to be fed, housed, and kept healthy. Every one of them has to be trained and ready to do their job, often under extreme pressure. Supporting this floating population is one of the greatest logistical challenges in the military world. Start with food. The Ford's galleys run 24 hours a day, serving more than 18,000 meals daily. Thousands of tons of food are stored in refrigerated compartments deep inside the ship. These compartments are the size of warehouses, packed with frozen meat, vegetables, dairy, and dry goods. Culinary specialists, Navy-trained chefs, work in shifts to prepare everything from simple eggs and sandwiches to elaborate meals. Bread is baked fresh every morning. Menus rotate to break the monotony of life at sea. Pizza nights, Taco Tuesdays, and even steak and lobster dinners appear to keep morale high. Food is not just nutrition. It's one of the strongest tools for maintaining mental health and motivation, on a ship where sailors may spend months without seeing land. Sleeping arrangements are tight. Most enlisted sailors sleep in racks. Stacked bunks, 3 high in shared compartments. Each rack is roughly the size of a coffin, with just enough room to lie down, a reading light, ventilation, and a small storage compartment. Compartments may hold dozens of sailors. Officers live in slightly larger staterooms, often shared by 2 or 3. Senior officers, including the captain, have private quarters. But even these are smaller than most college dorm rooms. Privacy is limited everywhere. Space is at a premium, and efficiency takes priority over comfort. Yet sailors adapt, decorating their racks with photos, flags, or small reminders of home. For months at a time, that rack becomes their personal world. Medical care is a lifeline. The Gerald R. Ford carries a fully equipped hospital staffed with doctors, nurses, and corpsmen. It has operating rooms, dental clinics, imaging equipment, a pharmacy, and intensive care units. Day to day, the staff treats sprains, colds, dental work, and minor injuries. But they are also trained for combat casualties and major emergencies. Appendectomies, heart surgeries, and trauma cases have been handled at sea. When the ship is far from land, there is no option to call an ambulance. The medical department must be ready for anything, including mass casualty events. Helicopters can evacuate critical patients, but only if the carrier is within range of land. Most of the time, the medical team itself is the only option. Supporting life also means producing clean water. The Ford's desalination plants use nuclear power to produce more than 400,000 gallons of fresh water every day. This water is used for drinking, cooking, showers, laundry, and machinery. The quality is so high that it is often cleaner than municipal tap water in American cities. Waste is managed with equal sophistication. Sewage is treated in modern plants built into the hull. Garbage is sorted, compacted, shredded, or incinerated. Nothing is thrown overboard unless it meets strict environmental standards. But while food, water, and shelter sustain life, the true mission of the Gerald R. Ford is aviation. The flight deck is one of the most dangerous workplaces on Earth. Imagine an airport compressed into a few hundred feet, operating around the clock on a runway that moves with the ocean. Jets weighing more than 60,000 pounds are launched and recovered every minute. Propellers spin, engines roar, exhaust blasts across the deck, and weapons are loaded and armed under combat conditions. To manage this chaos, the deck crew wear colored jerseys, the rainbow shirts. Yellow shirts direct aircraft. Blue shirts handle chocks and chains. Red shirts manage weapons. Purple shirts fuel the jets. Green shirts operate catapults and arresting gear. Brown shirts are plane captains responsible for individual aircraft. White shirts are supervisors, inspectors, and safety officers. Together they coordinate with precision, often through hand signals alone, to keep aircraft moving safely in an environment where a single mistake could mean disaster. Launching aircraft was once done with steam catapults. The Ford replaces those with EMALS, the Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System. EMALS uses linear induction motors to accelerate aircraft smoothly and efficiently. It can launch a heavy strike fighter or a lightweight drone with equal ease. The system reduces wear on aircraft and requires less maintenance. Recovery is handled by the advanced arresting gear, which replaces old hydraulic systems with electromagnetic and water turbine technology. It allows safer, more controlled recoveries across a wider range of aircraft weights. These technologies increase the sortie rate, the number of missions launched per day. The Ford is designed to launch more than 160 sorties daily, compared to 120 on the Nimitz class. That 30% increase is a leap in combat power. It means more jets in the sky, more weapons delivered, and more pressure on adversaries in any conflict. Beneath the deck, the hangar bay is the size of 3 football fields. It is where aircraft are stored, repaired, and armed. Elevators the size of tennis courts move jets and weapons from the hangar to the flight deck. On the Ford, these elevators are electromagnetic rather than cable-driven, making them faster, safer, and more reliable. Weapons can be moved from magazines deep in the hull to waiting aircraft in minutes. Powering all of this are the nuclear reactors. They don't just drive the ship, they power every system, from catapults to radar, computers to kitchens. The reactors are operated by nuclear-qualified sailors, among the most highly trained in the Navy. Their training takes years, and the standards are unforgiving. Inside secured compartments, they monitor systems, maintain pumps, and ensure that the heart of the ship runs perfectly. A single failure is unacceptable. Nuclear power is what makes the Ford truly independent, able to operate at sea for decades. Training aboard the ship is relentless. Every sailor, regardless of specialty, is trained in firefighting and damage control. Drills are constant. Fire, flood, collision, or attack. Once it were a the crew must be ready to respond instantly. On a ship this size, with nuclear reactors and live weapons, any emergency can escalate quickly. The difference between survival and catastrophe depends on training. Life aboard is not only work. Sailors find ways to rest and maintain morale. The ship has gyms, a library, chapels, and recreation spaces. Movie nights, talent shows, and even barbecues on the flight deck, Hispaniola called Steel Beach picnics, give the crew breaks from routine. Religious services are held regularly. Internet access, once rare, is now common through satellite systems, allowing sailors to email family, make video calls, and even take online college courses. These connections are vital for mental health during long deployments. But the ocean is not always calm. Carriers face storms with waves over 30 feet high and hurricane-force winds. The Ford is built to withstand these conditions. Its massive size and hull design keep it stable even in seas that would overwhelm smaller vessels. Flight operations may be paused, but the ship itself continues without interruption. Inside, the crew keeps working, eating, and sleeping as if tied up to a dock. Navigation teams monitor weather, other ships, and potential threats at all times, ensuring the carrier remains safe in hostile conditions. Maintenance never stops. With thousands of systems on board, preventive maintenance is constant. Engineers, electricians, and technicians work every day to inspect, repair, and service equipment. Every valve, pump, radar, and circuit must be ready at a moment's notice. Unlike a car or a plane on land, the ship cannot pull over for repairs. Everything must work, always. The Ford doesn't sail alone. It is the centerpiece of a carrier strike group, a collection of cruisers, destroyers, submarines, and supply ships. Together, they provide layered defense and logistical support. The carrier delivers air power, but the strike group ensures protection against submarines, surface ships, and missile threats. It is a mobile ecosystem of warships, able to operate independently anywhere in the world. Strategically, the presence of a carrier is a powerful symbol. It is often called 100,000 tons of diplomacy. Its arrival in a region demonstrates U.S. resolve and reassures allies. From combat missions in the Middle East to humanitarian operations after natural disasters, carriers show up where they are needed most. Their flexibility is unmatched. No other nation on Earth operates anything like them on this scale. The U.S. Navy currently has 11 nuclear-powered carriers, more than the rest of the world combined. The USS Gerald R. Ford represents the future. With its advanced power systems, electromagnetic launch and recovery gear, redesigned flight deck, and improved efficiency, it is built for the next 50 years of conflict and deterrence. It is not just a ship. It is a floating city, a nuclear-powered airbase, and a symbol of what American engineering and determination can achieve. Every meal served, every jet launched, every system maintained is proof of thousands of sailors working together. They live in cramped spaces. They endure long deployments. They work in dangerous conditions, and yet they operate one of the most complex machines ever built with precision and professionalism. When you see the Gerald R. Ford on the open ocean, remember what it represents. It is not just steel and machinery. It is the dedication of the men and women who serve aboard. It is the ability of the United States to project power anywhere on Earth. It is a city at sea, running on nuclear power, defended by its crew, and sustained by the relentless effort of thousands of Americans. If this look inside the USS Gerald R. Ford impressed you, take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. It helps us bring you more detailed explorations of the ships, planes, and technologies that keep our world secure.